Okay. So, what did we do in the last class? What did we do in the last class? Last class, we had started with the fourth unit. Fourth unit is all about planning. Then I told you about planning, the significance of plan. Then we discussed about a planning sequence with the help of a problem called block world problem. Okay, so that was what we discussed in the last class. And then we also discussed about strips representation. An action centric representation called strips. I hope you remember. Action centric representation called strips was discussed in the previous class, which had three types of list. It had something called preconditions, then add list, and a delete list. You can see here delete list and add list. Okay, then preconditions and post conditions. So preconditions means the predicates which have to be true before the operation. So that is what is basically the preconditions. Then add list means what are all those predicates which will be true after the operation. Then delete list means all those predicates which are no longer true after the operation. Then of course the effect or post condition. So that will change as a result of the action. Okay, so I told you strips was an action centric representation. So after the action is performed, you will be deleting certain action and you will be adding certain action. Okay, so what gets deleted goes to the delete list and what gets added goes to the add list. Okay, so that was what strips was all about. Okay, and strips was making use of what is called your first order predicates. Okay, strips was basically making use of what is called your first order predicates. Okay, so this is where we stopped in the previous class. Are you all listening? Listening, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll start with the next algorithm, next planning algorithm, an important planning algorithm called goal stack planning. Okay, so this is actually one of the most important planning algorithm. Okay, and this is specifically being used by strips, by the strips itself. Okay, so when you say goal stack planning, there's something called stack coming up here. Okay, so the stack is basically being used in the algorithm to hold the actions and satisfy the goal. Okay, so in this approach, goal stacks are basically being used in order to carry out the task. Okay, and actually this is I mean one of the techniques which is being used in strips, one of the very early techniques which is being used in strips. Okay, so you can see here what I mean, if the stack top is a compound goal, I'll explain what is a compound goal. Push it onto the stack. If the top of the stack is having a single unsatisfied goal, replace it by an operator and make it satisfied and push the operator's precondition to the stack. If the stack top is an operator, it's an action, then pop it out from the stack, execute it and change the database by the operations effect. If the stack top is satisfied goal, pop it out from the stack. Okay, so I know it sounds very vague to you. I'll explain what it is. Okay, so let's first try to understand what are all these things. Okay, so you can see here, as far as the goal stack problem is concerned, the problem solver relies on a database that describes the current situation. Then a set of operators with precondition, add and delete list. Okay, so when you say database, database is nothing but your knowledge base. Database is nothing but a knowledge base. Okay, so what is this knowledge base? This is your knowledge base. You can see here, all your, this was your knowledge base, all your red color ones, your actions, the stack, unstack, pick up, put down, all these things. Okay, so all you have all your set of operators. So this is what your knowledge base will be having. Okay, so here we will have to solve it as a stack. Okay, so generally when we say stack, stack will have something called top of stack. top of the stack. Okay, so let us assume that the goal is equal to G1 and G2, G3 and up to Gn. Okay, so all these G1, G2, G3, they are all what is called your sub goals. Okay, sub goals, and this is what is called your compound goal. Okay, so this compound goal, okay, has a number of sub goals G1, G2, G3 up to Gn. Okay, so they are stacked with the compound goal at the bottom. So you can see here. So the compound goal is being stacked at the bottom of the stack. Okay, so you need to achieve each and every sub goal separately. You need to achieve each and every goal separately. Okay, so what you basically do is you take the one which is at the top of the stack, that is G1, and then achieve it, then pop it out, then you remove G2, then you're going to achieve G2, then it will be done. So similarly, you proceed. Okay, so finally, when it comes to the bottom, when it comes to the bottom, you will be having G1 and G2, that is a compound goal, would have been achieved. Okay, so then you remove the bottom goal from the stack. Okay, so once the bottom goal is also removed, your stack becomes empty. Okay, so once the stack becomes empty, then you can say that your sub goals have been achieved. Okay, so that's basically the concept of your goal stack planning. Okay, so now coming to this, the idea in brief, what it is about. Okay, so you are placing the goal, you're placing the goal in the stack. Okay, so goal one, so goal one is basically your compound goal. Goal one is nothing but your compound goal. Okay, so goal one has two sub goals. You have two sub goals, that is goal 1.1 and 1.2, goal 1.1 and 1.2. So these are the sub goals. Okay, so you need to solve these sub goals separately. Okay, so first you will have to solve the one on the top of the stack, that is goal 1.2 and then goal 1.1. Okay, for example, when you say your goals, your goal one can be, let's say, get A star in all the subjects and get a CGPA greater than 9.5 and get an admission to some foreign university. Okay, so you will put each and every goal onto the stack. Okay, so you will have an action plan to achieve each goal. Okay, so what is basically this action plan is, what are all the operators or actions? When we say operators, nothing but the actions, what you do to achieve it. Okay, so once you achieve it, okay, both your preconditions and post conditions, you have to put inside the goal itself. Okay, so precondition means to achieve goal 1.2, what are all the things you need to do. Okay, so after the operator is applied, what to be done. Okay, or after a particular goal is achieved, you remove the preconditions and put the post conditions. Okay, so in post conditions, you will be having all these add list, delete list, and other things. Okay, so that post condition will become the precondition for the next goal, that is goal 1.1, and you proceed. So that's what you basically try to do. Okay, so as a summary, I can tell you that the compound goal, out here, the compound goal is nothing but your goal 1. Okay, so that you put at the bottom of the stack. Okay, so you try to solve one sub goal at a time. And once your sub goal is solved, you're going to return the action sequence. Okay, so you can remove from the stack. Okay, so the operations, when you say stack, the operations are basically push and pop. Okay, so you will have to pop the one on the top of the stack, then push the predicates that are used to solve the goal. Okay, so now I'll explain this with a small example before coming to the algorithm. Okay, so well, now the same block world problem, last class, whatever we have discussed. So now I'll solve it using the goal stack planning. Okay, so here we'll be implementing it with the help of a stack. Okay, right. So let's take this. Okay, so let's take our block world problem. Hope all of you are able to see the Excel sheet out here. So this is our goal stack, the same block world problem, a simple problem with 2 blocks. So this is your initial state. Okay, this is your goal state. Okay, so how will you represent your initial state? Using strips representation, I can put it as on A comma B. Okay, so when I say on A comma B, it means A is on top of B. Okay, so what is the strips representation for the final state? What is the final state representation? My final state representation can be on B comma A, right? Fine. Okay, so when you say goal stack planning, so goal, we have a stack associated with it. Okay, in goal stack planning, stack is associated with it. So I'm going to put my goal onto the stack. Okay, so this is my stack. Okay, so let me put the goal onto my stack. So what is my goal? Right now, my goal is on B comma A. This is my goal. Okay, right. So to achieve this goal, this is a single goal, I am going to replace it with a set of predicates to achieve it. Okay, so that's what. So in order to achieve this particular goal, that is on B comma A, I'm going to remove it from the stack or replace it with a set of predicates to achieve it. Okay, so to achieve this goal, what are the preconditions? That's my question. So to achieve this goal of on B comma A, what are the preconditions? What are the preconditions? What are the preconditions? So it can be this. Okay. So now if I have this sort of a configuration, okay. So that's what. So only if I have B and A on the table, only then I can pick up B and place it on top of A. So that's my precondition. Okay, both has to be on table. A and B has to be on the table, and only then I can pick up B and put it on top of A. Okay, so that means what are my preconditions? My preconditions, let me put it in the form of strips representation. On table A, A is on table, nothing on top of A. Then on table B, B is on table, nothing on top of B. Then clear of A. Clear of A in the sense there is nothing on top of A. Then clear of B. That is nothing on top of B. So these are my preconditions. Okay, so these are my preconditions in order to achieve my goal. Okay, so my preconditions. Okay, so now what do I do? My stack is having this. Okay, so these are my preconditions. So now, as per our goal stack planning algorithm, you remove on B comma A from the stack and put the preconditions onto the stack. So now I'm going to remove my the one which is on top of stack, that is nothing but my goal. So I'm going to remove that and I'm going to put my preconditions onto the stack. Let me put, these are the preconditions. Let me put the preconditions onto the stack. Okay, so now my stack looks like this. Okay, I'm going to put my preconditions onto the stack. Right, so now I can start removing whatever is there on top of the stack. Okay, so now you execute on table of A, and then you remove on table of A from the stack. So the next step, my stack would be something like this. Okay, then again execute on B comma on table of B, and then at the next step my stack would be like this. Then remove the one on the top of the stack. So it becomes clear of A would be removed, and finally I'll be I'll be left with clear of B. Okay, so then at the last step, you remove that also from the stack. Okay, whatever has to be there in the stack has to be removed. Okay, so what is basically being done is the goal has to be replaced. The goal that is on B comma A has to be replaced by a set of predicates, that is the preconditions that must be existing in order to achieve the goal. Okay, so if you can replace in such a manner, then you can easily pop it out and finally the end goal will be achieved. Okay, so once the end goal is being achieved, that also can be popped out. Okay, so once that is being done, your stack becomes empty. Okay, so now the stack is empty. Okay, so once the stack is empty, your algorithm ends. Okay, so that's what is basically your goal stack planning. Okay, so you are replacing the goal by a set of predicates or preconditions necessary to achieve the goal and proceed with it. Okay, that's a simple demonstration of a block world problem. This is a block world problem done using goal stack planning algorithm. Okay, so now coming to our algorithm. Okay, now coming to our algorithm. Okay, you can see here. What does the first step tell you? Find an operator that satisfies the sub goal G1. Make it true and replace G1 by the operator. So the operator, what is operator? Operator means the action plan. For example, it can be stack, unstack, all those things. Okay, so you need to replace G1 with the help of an operator. Okay, once the operator is brought into the top of the stack, you will be using that operator. It has to be popped out. Okay, then step 2. Okay, if more than one operator satisfies the sub goal, then put the operator in some order. Okay, so the one at the top of the stack will always be executed. Okay, then the third step. Okay, in order to execute the topmost operation, its preconditions are added onto the stack. Okay, so that's what we did. The preconditions, these were the preconditions. We added that onto the stack. We added the preconditions onto the stack. So along with the operator, the preconditions has to be executed along, and along with the operator and should also be placed onto the top of the stack. Then coming to the fourth step. Okay, once the preconditions of an operator is satisfied, then we are guaranteed that the operator can be applied to produce a new state. Okay, so once the preconditions are satisfied, you are going to remove the preconditions. Okay, then add the new set of post conditions. Okay, then the next step, the new state is obtained by using the add and delete list of operators to the existing database. Okay, so post conditions set with the add and the delete list. Then the problem solver keeps track of the operators applied. Okay, so this process will continue till the goal stack is empty and the problem solver returns the plan of the problem. Okay, so we continued this till the stack is empty and we're getting the planning sequence. Okay, so that is what called goal stack planning, one of the planning algorithms which is being implemented using your stack data structure, right? I hope people are listening and are able to understand. Okay, so next, right? So this is the goal stack problem. I mean, the block world problem, a different configuration is being given. This is the initial state. This is the final state. So you can work it out using the goal stack problem. I mean, goal stack planning algorithm. How I explained a small one right now with 2 blocks. So another configuration is given. You can try it out later for the examination purpose. Okay. So now you can see here, another small example is being given here. So you can see here, this is your initial state and this is your goal state. Okay. So you can see here the database. The database is nothing but the knowledge base. This is nothing but the database or the knowledge base. It will have a set of predicates of the initial state. So this is a set of predicates of the initial state. You can see here, clear B. There's nothing on top of B. On C, comma A. C is on top of A. This is with respect to the initial state, your knowledge base or your database. Then clear C. Clear C means there's nothing on top of C. On table A. A is on table B. B is also on table, hand empty. The RoboArm is empty. Okay, so now this is my goal state. So first, what do I do first? First, this is my stack. My stack is having the goal state. What is my goal state? on A comma C. A is on top of C, and on C comma B. C is on top of B. This is my compound goal. This is a compound goal which is consisting of two goals, two sub goals. One is on A comma C and another one is on C comma B. Okay, a compound goal is being placed onto the stack. So what does my algorithm tell you? What does my algorithm tell you? I need to replace my compound goal with sub goal. I need to split my split my compound goal into sub goals. Okay, that's my first step. Okay, so let me do that. Okay, my compound goal is, in the example what I gave you here in the block world, it's a simple goal. Simple goal on B comma A. Okay, whereas here it is a compound goal. You can see here on A comma C and on C comma B. Okay, so now I'm replacing my compound goal. This is my compound goal with two sub goals, and I'm putting it on the stack. Okay, I can put it in any order. Out here for the illustration, I have put C comma B on the top. I can even put A comma C on the top. Okay, so this compound goal is being split into two sub goals. Okay, so now I have on C comma B on the top of the stack. Okay, which I need to pop it out. Okay, so now this is my knowledge base, it's unchanged. Okay, so now the question is, see, now I'm having on C comma B on the top of the stack, which I have to pop it out. Okay, so for on C comma B, okay, you need to have the, what are the preconditions? You need to have the operation stack C comma B. You need to have the operation stack C comma B. Okay, for which the preconditions are, these are the preconditions, for which the preconditions are holding C and clear of B. Okay, which means the robo arm is holding C and there's nothing on top of B. Okay, then only I can have on C comma B. Okay, so why am I doing all these things for this particular action? Because that is what I'm having on the top of the stack right now. I'm having on C comma B. I can put on A comma C also. For this illustration purpose, I have put on C comma B on top. Okay, so for on C comma B on top, you need to have what operation you need to have? You need to have the operation stack C comma B, for which the preconditions are holding C and clear of B. Okay, so that means robo arm is holding C and there's nothing on top of B. Then only I can have C comma B. Okay, so this is what, this is similar to whatever I have worked out just now. Okay, so my goal here was on B comma A. Okay, so this was my goal. So for my goal, what were the preconditions? These were the preconditions. Okay, so if you have all these, you can perform stack B comma A. I hope all of you are following what I'm telling. If you're following, this is very interesting. Otherwise, it will be Greek and Latin. Okay, so it's similar to what the problem what I've told you. Okay, then now again, if you see here, holding C and clear B. Again, it is a compound goal. Okay, so in case I'm having a compound goal, I will have to split it and put it as two sub goals. Okay, so in the next step, I'm putting holding C and clear B. On top of that, I'm splitting it and putting it as two sub goals. See, this is one sub goal. That is this. This is being split as two sub goals. One is holding of C and another one is clear of B. Clear of B. Okay, so then you will have to remove the predicate clear B from the top of the stack. Clear B from the top of the stack, and then accordingly you will have to proceed. Okay, see, I'm removing clear B from the stack. I've striked it out. Okay, so then comes holding of C. Okay, so accordingly you will have to proceed. Okay, so this is only a partial solution. Similarly, you have to proceed till your stack is empty. Okay, so that's what your goal stack planning is all about. I hope you have understood now. Okay, so now if you see this, if the stack top is a compound goal, push it unsatisfied sub-goals to the stack. If it's a single unsatisfied goal, replace it by an operator and make it satisfied and push the operator's precondition to the stack. If the stack top is an operator, then pop it out from the stack, execute it, and change the database by the operations effect. And if the stack top is a satisfied goal, pop it out from the stack. Okay, so that's what I have explained. A simple, this is the basic idea. Then I gave you a simple example with the block world problem. There's another one in the PPT for you to work it out. Solution is given, but then you can work it out with the goal stack planning. Then algorithm, this is the algorithm which I've explained. Okay, so that's all about your goal stack planning. I hope you have understood. Are people following?
Yes.
Okay, right. So now, yeah, this step continues until the stack is empty. Okay, you need to continue this step till your stack is empty. Okay, so now going on to the next algorithm. So the next algorithm is what is called your MEA, means end analysis. Okay, so here what you're telling is, while you move from one state towards your goal state, you should move in such a way that the difference between the goal state and the initial state is decreasing. Okay, so that's basically the concept of your MEA, means end analysis. Okay, so what I mean to say is, while you're moving from one state towards your goal state, you should move in such a way that the difference between the goal state and the initial state is decreasing. Okay, for example, I want to switch on the light in this particular room. Okay, if I simply sit in my place, light will not be on. For that, I need to get up from my place and move towards the switchboard or towards the switch. Only then the difference between my goal state is switching on the light, and my initial state was sitting on the chair, will be decreased. Okay. On the other hand, if I go to some other room, roam there, and then proceed towards my goal, then the difference will be increasing. Okay, so that's basically the concept behind your MEA, means end analysis. Okay, the difference computes the difference between the two states. Okay, so whatever I have told here is being put as an algorithm. So when you say MEA or means end analysis, it's dependent on a set of rules. Okay, it's dependent on a set of rules. Okay, so those rules are used for the transformation from one state to another. Okay, so the preconditions and the post conditions are included in it. Okay, so a difference table will be prepared, or a difference table is used to represent the difference between the current state and the next state. Okay, then what action has to be performed, or the action selection is based on that the particular difference. Okay, so yeah, that's what your algorithm tells you. Okay, so for example, there's an example being given here. Let's take a simple example. So let's say you are in a new city and you want to purchase a laptop. Okay, so you do not know where the shop is. Okay, so you have, let's say, the contact number of your friend who stays in the particular city and can help you with the address. Okay, so with your means and analysis, okay, so the difference table can be something like this. So the difference table will be in the form of some rules. Okay, so the first rule can be, if you want to purchase a laptop, okay, then the recommended actions are visit shop or purchase online. Okay, so then again, if you do not know the address, then the recommended action will be call friend whom I just said would be residing in the city and can help you with the address, or use some tools like Google Map or whatever and get on. Okay, so for each recommended action, there is a precondition and a post condition. Okay, for example, for the action, I'm having an action, visit shop. Okay, so for this particular action, what can be the precondition for this? For visiting the shop, what can be the precondition? Precondition means you should know the location of the shop. That can be one precondition. What will be the post condition? Post condition is you have the laptop purchased. Pre and post condition. Okay, so this set is formed for all the actions. Okay, so I mean, with your precondition and post condition, you prepare a set for all actions in the difference table. Okay, so now you assume that you are at first state where you want to purchase the laptop. Okay, since the precondition, that is the location of the shop, to have the first rule executed is not satisfied, then you can say some sort of recursive call will take place with the condition of location not known and so on. So that's how you proceed with your means and analysis. Okay, so what you basically do is you will be having your end goal. Okay, end goal. So that will be divided into sub goals, which in turn can be divided into sub goals. And then you proceed, then some actions would be there based on it. Okay, then for each action, see what are the precondition, then what are the post condition. Okay, then you see whether it is satisfied, whether it is executed or not, and accordingly proceed. A micro analysis of the problem, planning problem. Okay, so that's what is means and analysis all about. Okay, so maybe you can, scenario is being given here, you can try it out. An electronics business company aims to get a turnover of 10 crore per annum. How do you do? Okay, so that will be a goal, divided into sub goals, sub goals, then find out the actions for each, prepare the, there will be a precondition and a post condition, and then you create that set for all the actions in the difference table, then you proceed accordingly. Okay, that's what is means and analysis all about. Okay, so far whatever we have discussed, okay, that was basically linear planning. Whatever we have discussed so far is linear planning. Okay, your block world problem solved using your goal stack planning. And then one more, we discussed another type of planning algorithm called, we discussed two types of planning algorithms. One is goal stack planning and another one is means and analysis. Okay, so in block world problem, we keep moving from one state to another state in a linear fashion. Okay, so we are not doing anything concurrently, or we are not doing anything parallelly. Okay, we are not doing two actions simultaneously. It's only one after the other we are doing. Okay, so now in the next topic, we are going to introduce the concept of concurrency into planning. Okay, concurrency. Okay, concurrency, that's what your non-linear planning is all about, concurrency. Okay, doing things simultaneously. Okay, introducing concurrency. Okay, so anyway, there's no problem associated with it. So these topics, NLP, non-linear planning, conditional planning, and reactive planning, they are all theory. There's no problem here. Okay, so let's look into this. Okay, so first, linear versus non-linear planning. Okay, so I just mentioned, you just take one goal at a time and solve it completely before the next one. So that's what is basically your linear planning. Then non-linear planning means a plan. You'll be having a plan. You'll be having a number of sub-problem or whatever, and which can be solved, which are solved simultaneously or concurrently. That's what is called your non-linear plan. Okay, so this interaction among the sub goals as far as the non-linear planning is concerned. Okay, so then you have what is called a partial order planning. Partial order plan is also called POP, partial order plan. That is also a type of non-linear planning. Non-linear planning. Okay, so for example, I'll give you an example. Okay, so you want to take your car for servicing, and you want to make an important phone call. Okay, so in the case of linear planning, what will you do? You will first make the phone call, and then you will take the car for servicing. Okay, so that is completing both the task in a linear manner. Okay, but then the same task, when you're trying to execute as a non-linear plan, what you can do is you can concurrently or simultaneously perform two tasks. For example, you can start the car, you can put on the Bluetooth, then you can make a phone call, then drive the car, take the car to the service station, and leave the car at the service station. That's what your non-linear planning is all about. Okay, so you can switch on the Bluetooth, make a call, and drive. So that's what is executing tasks simultaneously as far as a non-linear planning is concerned. Then, when you say a non-linear plan, it's always associated with some constraints, constraint posting. Constraint posting. You can see here S1 and S2. Constraints can be of the form S1 and S2. That is, if step S1 must come before a step, what this means is step S1 should come before step S2. Okay, so that is S2 can be making a phone call. S2 can be making phone call. In my example, make call. Okay, so to what about S1? S1 can be switching on your Bluetooth, which has to be done before a call can be made. Okay, so uh, what I mean to say is there's always a constraint posting which comes along with a non-linear plan, non-linear planning. Okay, so at any time in the problem solving process, we may have a set of useful operators or operators in the sense actions. Okay, but then you don't have clear idea regarding how those operators or actions should be ordered with respect to each other. Okay, so that's where your non-linear planning or a partial, for which a partial order plan is an example, comes into picture. Okay, so for example, I'll give you an example for a partial order plan. Let's say, what happened? I came down. So partial order planning. Let me say, let's take a case. You want to latch the door. Okay, so with the use of lock and key, you want to, the operation is latching the door with the help of lock and key. So you can have both a total order plan and a partial order plan. How it will look like, I'll just show you. Okay, so if it is a total order plan or a total plan, so maybe you can begin, you can get the lock. Okay, then get key, then lock the door, and then end. Okay, so this is a total order plan. This I can put it in another order also. I can begin, then again I can, instead of getting the lock, I can get the key. I'm just changing the order. That's it. Get key, then get lock, get locks, then lock the door, and then end. Okay, I can do this. This is the total order planning. Okay, so now let me show you a partial order plan. So I begin. Okay, so I can either proceed in this manner. So I can get the lock, or I can get the key, then lock the door, then end. Okay, so this is a total order planning, and this is what is called a partial order planning. Okay, so if we only represent, this can be one order and this can be another order. Okay, so if we only represent partial order constraints on steps, then we have what is called as partial order planner, which is an example for a non-linear planner. Okay, so you have different path in the partial order plan. You have different path. You can go either in this path or you can go in this path. Okay, but then they are not, you cannot call it as alternative plans, but then you can call it as alternative sequence of actions. Okay, alternative sequence of actions. Okay, so that's what the concept of your partial order plan is all about. Then, so this partial order planning has something called what is called a least commitment policy. Least commitment policy. Okay, so it actually embodies the principle of least commitment. Okay, so least commitment strategy, that's basically a policy where the decisions or choices can be delayed. Okay, so it simply says that do not make any decisions unless it is required. Okay, so you are delaying, the decision or the choices are being delayed. Okay, so till later. Okay, so what your least commitment policy tells you is do not make any decisions unless required. Okay, so one advantage of this least commitment is it avoids what is called your rework. Okay, because the task may have to be undone. For example, let's assume that some assignment is being given for a particular course. Okay, so a student completes the assignment on the same day, but then he doesn't get it evaluated from the subject faculty till the deadline, or till say some grades regarding the submissions have been put up. Okay, so he is trying to do that thinking that some rework can be avoided. Okay, so that's what the least commitment policy associated with non-linear planning is all about. Okay, so decisions or choices are being delayed, and it simply says that do not make any decisions unless it is required. Okay, so that's what the least commitment policy in non-linear planning is all about. Okay, so this is whatever we have told. Set of steps, set of causal links, and a non-linear plan is complete. I'll give you an example for this. Okay, what it is. Okay, so let's have this example. Okay, so here you have the start state and the finish state. Okay, so the start state is, it's a shoe and a socks problem. Okay, so the start state is, let's say the shoe and socks not on legs, so that is your start state, your initial state. Okay, so your finish state is right shoe and socks, right shoe and socks on right leg, and similarly left shoe and socks on left leg. Okay, so to do this, you can put your right shoe first or your left shoe. Okay, that is up to you. Okay, but then you cannot put both together at the same time. Okay, so in order to put the right shoe, you need to put the right socks. Same case, in order to put your left shoe, you need to put your left socks. Okay, so here you have some ordering of constraints. Okay, ordering. So you can see here, which is being represented like this. Here I had told you previously also how the ordering of constraints happens. See here, ordering of constraints. Okay, that's being represented this manner. So out here, what are the constraints? You will have to put, S1 will be putting the socks first and then shoes next. Okay, S1 can be putting the socks and S2 can be putting the shoes. So you have a set of operations. You can see here. So you have action, you have your precondition, you have your post condition. Post condition is also called FX. Okay, so action is whatever operation you are doing, or action, that is the verbs. Okay, so every action will convert your precondition into post condition or your effects. This is post condition. Okay, so various operations are there. What are the operations? Right shoe, right socks, left shoe, left socks, everything. Okay, so the diagram for a partial order planning is being given here. Okay, so if you do this, if you do only the right hand side, that is one partial order plan. Okay, then if I do only the left hand side, that's another partial order plan. Okay, if both these, okay, are complete, then I will call it as a complete plan. Okay, complete plan. That's what a complete plan is. Okay, if both the POPs are complete, then I will call my plan as complete. Okay, so that's basically the concept. Okay, so then that's regarding your non-linear plan. Okay, this is what we have discussed in today's class. Okay, then we have what is called conditional planning and reactive planning. There's another two more. Okay, I'll just give you an introduction, then I'll take attendance. So conditional planning means if, then, else. Okay, if, then plan A, else plan B. Okay, that's what you will check whether your San Francisco airport is operational. If so, you fly there. Otherwise, you fly to Auckland. Okay, so that's what is conditional planning. But then flipping a coin is not a conditional planning. Then you have something called reactive planning. After this, the next topic is reactive planning. Reactive planning means depending on the condition you are going to react. For example, the thermostat. It follows a situation action rule. Okay, so what is your action depending on the situation? For example, it's suitable for all your AC, washing machine, and all those things. Okay, so that's what your reactive planning is all about. Okay, I hope you are following. So today's class we discussed about a planning algorithm called goal stack planning. Then we discussed about means and analysis. We worked out block world problem using goal stack planning. Then I gave you examples for means and analysis. Then we started looking into what is called non-linear planning, where you're executing the task concurrently. Then one type of non-linear planning is what is called your POP, partial order plan. Partial order plan which has got what is called a least commitment policy. Then gave you examples for all those things. Then I gave you an introduction to your conditional planning and reactive planning. Hope all of you are listening and not sleeping. Were you all listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So now let me take the attendance. Next class. Shruti,
Present, ma'am.
Ryan,
Present, ma'am.
Aditya,
Present, ma'am.
Udaya Ramakrishnan,
Present, ma'am.
Sanjay Kumar,
Present, ma'am.
Dipanshu Kumar,
Present, ma'am.
Vishal, 27.
Present, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Yeah. Srinjay,
Present, ma'am.
Muhammad Fasil,
Yes, ma'am.
Nitish Venkatesh, 37.
Present, ma'am.
Dilip Kumar, 38. Dilip is absent. No response. Shruti Kaushik,
Yes, ma'am.
38 is marked as absent. 46 is present. 48. Nitin R.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me stop the recording.